Hi, Miss Karen here. We're going to do some marbled paper today using mineral oil and watercolor paints. And I know you know that oil and water don't mix. We're going to take that a step further and add watercolor paint suspended in the oil so it will float on top of the plain water. And that's our technique for the day. I included in your kit some information about why this works, and also I thought we'd just talk a little bit about the history of marbled paper. No one really knows exactly when it started. Some people say it was over 1,000 years ago in Asia. There is also some from the Middle East, and also then later on in history in Europe, particularly in Italy. It was often used to line the inside of a book, and it turns out this was because the intricate patterns helped hide all the strings and things underneath those pages that were used to put the book together. If you used plain paper, you could see the strings through it. So just a few little interesting facts. I hope you have fun today. So a few things you're going to need from home to do this project. You're going to want a newspaper or a paper bag or something that you can lay your finished papers on to dry, something that will absorb some of the oil and water from the paper. Paper towels, just in case for cleanup. Some kind of a bucket or bowl you can pour your used oil and water into so you can refresh for a new sheet of paper. A shallow pie plate or pan that you can put your water and your oils in for making your paper. It's easiest if it's something very shallow like a pie plate so you can get your fingers in there. A fork or 2 or 3 for mixing your watercolor paints and oils together. Then in your, and some water that we're gonna use to fill this. In your kit, you've got pipettes for putting the oil in. You have your 3 different watercolors, a blue, yellow, and reddish magenta, and then your clear oil. The other thing you're going to need from home are some small containers, either little tiny mason jars, little yogurt cups, or if you've been making slime with me, you probably have an accumulation of little plastic cups, and that works as well. So let's get started. So our first step is going to be to put some water, about 1/2 inch, or not quite to your first knuckle if you put your finger in the bottom of the dish as you pour. You don't want too much. Then apparently things start to sink. Ooh, looks like I have some glitter from a past slime in here. All right, so carefully open your mineral oil and pour just a small amount into the bottom of one of your containers. And put in just a little bit of, well, maybe a little bit more, of watercolor paint. And do that. So you can use more containers if you want, and you can make secondary colors using your watercolors. You can mix the blue and yellow to make a green, red and yellow to make orange, blue and red to make purple, etc. I think I will make some purple today, but not for right now. I will just do the primary colors for right now. So after you've done that, you're gonna take your fork and you want to mix really, really quickly. Oops, that splashed me. Until you have tiny little bubbles of the watercolor paint suspended in the oil. And you need to work pretty quickly for this project. So give them all a quick stir. You really want to bust up that watercolor paint so it's little tiny bits suspended inside your oil. And then you're going to take your pipette and sprinkle. Oh, I should put white paper underneath, shouldn't I have? And you might have to stir each one as you go. The paint likes to try to push itself back. I'm rinsing my one pipette, but you have several, so you probably don't need to do that in between unless you're going to mix up a whole bunch of other colors. Okay, now we want to work quickly before all our watercolor paint starts to sink. So you want to lay your paper on top of this. And you can kind of see it starting to work as the spots show up. And then lift it out carefully. And place it to dry. And you can probably do a couple of sheets. Before starting again. I think I want more of the pink and yellow this time. Depending on which way you put your paper in your plate, you'll get a slightly different result. And that one came out more pink and yellow. So you want to let your art dry flat. And let me show you what it's starting to look like. Here, let me show you. You want to let it dry flat. The oil will start to soak into the paper and you won't notice it as much once it's completely dry. And when it's completely dry, you can use it to make a note card or all kinds of fun things. So my water's looking pretty yucky right now. So I think I'm going to pour that off into my bowl. My cleaner water. And this time I think I'll put a piece of paper underneath so you can see the colors a little more easily on the camera. I didn't realize how hard this would be to see. So let's see, I think I need some more yellow paint in there. And then I think I'm going to turn my red paint into purple. I'm going to mix those two together right from the start with my fork. I'm going to need some more red in there. That's a pretty dark purple. You can watch the oil scatter about on top of the water as you drop in your paints. Stir this one back up. I'm thinking it might even be helpful if you had someone else drop in your colors so you can get your paper in right away before they start to sink. They really do start to sink quickly. I think that one almost reminds me of the Starry Night painting. Anyway, I hope you have fun creating.